So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live Thursday stream. I'm working in Hanna Karlzon's Magical Dawn, and I did it was quite a few months ago now. I think it was for the New Year's Eve stream. Scratchy colour into a colour page, and I haven't finished the last two bottles. So this looks like Neocolour 2s. So you can tell where I've activated the colour on some things, and then the little jewels I haven't, and the hourglass, the sand hourglass, and the little bottle and the beetle. So I thought I'd do that. Now I've got a bigger brush, and I only like the Derwents. I think Derwent watercolour brushes 1 and 2. A bigger space I'd use that one, but for the smaller spaces I always like the number 1 because it's only barely damp. Now this Hanna Karlzon page is quite good, so I'm just going to really quickly activate this, and the idea was to manipulate the colour around. So you didn't have to put colour on everything. And then this is a paler version. Oops, I've gone over the line, sorry guys. Again, we get colour and we can manipulate it where we want. So we're creating an effect. Now, unfortunately, I've lost my little point, so it's a bit more difficult. So here we've got the circles. So twist it to a point, and then manipulate the colour, and then push it around. So we're getting a little bit of a watercolour effect. It's stronger at the bottom, and push that around. Now I can't honestly decide if it's a neo colour this, I can't remember, so I'll have a look at it and decide what it is later. I think it's a crayon, so I'm pretty sure it is Neocolour 2s, but I wouldn't swear to it. And then at this one we had the darker. And this is the one that we could colour scratch colour in, and then leave it as if you're going on holiday. So you could leave the pencils or the crayons, the good quality watercolour crayons or pencils at home, still colour. And then if you want to add some later, like I want probably a bit more colour here, you can do that when you're home, but at least you can get the majority of it done, and all you need is your water brush. So I'm going to take the bigger one now because I want to kind of manipulate this. So now luckily the Hanna Karlzon pages will take a little bit of watercolour. So I put colour at the bottom and I put colour at the top. And I don't know if you can see that lovely effect that I'm getting. I'll zoom in when I do the bug. So you don't want too much water, but you want to manipulate this and then draw it up, and again we get that watercolour effect. I think that was for the shadow. Now I'm getting a little bit of a buckle because it's a big space and it's a big water brush, but it doesn't bother me. You couldn't do this on a Bennett Klein. You'd have to kind of, I might change to my smaller brush in a second. Because it's a photocopy paper and it's quite thin, but if you printed it out on thicker paper you might get away with it. I'm just in the process of I've bought several packs of sketchbook paper that I want to use to watercolour to print off my colour books. So I think that looks quite okay. But I am going to turn to the smaller brush for the next bit, because the way these are kind of drawn on almost with a crayon like. And the other thing is, you don't need to get to the edges because you manipulate the edges with the brush, so you don't have to get to the edges. And I think I did the bottom so that there would all be kind of a watercolour effect. So let me just do the yellow. Oh, that's quite a nice flame. And then I've got some more yellow. So we do all the yellows first. And again, because we're just manipulating it with a small amount of water coming up, that's acting as a watercolour effect. It's diluting it. So we'll do the orange one next. And that's why I like this number 1 Derwent brush, because it gives you such a beautiful watercolour effect. We've got an orange one there. I've missed that yellow one, but that's fine. This is an orange one. So manipulate the colour and then draw it up, so you're going to get a watercolour effect. And this is how you push it. To the black lines, so you might not scratch to the line, you don't need to, you just need to get a little bit of colour in the middle, and then you can manipulate this and can draw it up, so you're getting this lovely way to work. That's a yellow one and I've missed it, but never mind, I'll just do this one. So imagine that you're at the seaside, or you're at the hotel, you're by the pool, by the beach, your neos are at home, all safe, and you've got a whole colour book to just colour through. Just do that pale colour. So that worked really well. Oh, and the last one is up here. So again, you're pushing the colour up to the line, and then you have a lovely watercolour effect. I'm going to stick with the little one because I want to make sure. And as I'm doing this, I'm actually gathering colour. And because colour isn't everywhere, I'm getting a nice effect. But now it's not. So I quite like that. So that was just really quickly how to manipulate. I just did this really quickly, this one. Oops, I touched the blue there, you see the blue's very strong. And the brown's going to give a watercolour effect, a rounded effect, beg your pardon. So I can put some colour here and then manipulate that up to the top. So we get a gradual graded effect, and then just manipulate that to the middle. So you have a really nice effect. And as I say, you just keep going. So you can have that really nice watercolour effect and melt all that crayon that was scribbled five or 6 months ago. I'm pretty sure these are Neos because they're just melting, although the Derwent art bars do the same thing, but I think I recognise some of these colours. And you can go to the palest of highlights, and there's no sign of a crayon anywhere, so again I like that. Let's swap to the smaller brush, and what we do is manipulate that colour and then bring it across, and then do the same this way. So we've got a highlight, and the same with this one, and the same with this one. So we've automatically made that round, even though the same with this, we've automatically got a highlight by just putting the crayon on one side. So naturally it's darker, and then the other side is paler, and it's just a really nice way to work. So I'm going to do all this side here, and then when I get to the bottom I'm going to drag that colour across. So I've got a lovely highlight on the outside all the way down. It's the same with this one. This side I'm working a little bit wetter so I can feel that that's not quite dry yet. This one all the way down. And of course you can work out if the light's coming from the left or the right. Now you can go a bit slower than me, and then what I want to do, that should be dark really under there, but I can manipulate that colour across. Same with this way. And there we have a colour. So I'm colouring, and I've just got a water brush. And it's a really nice way to work. You could do this for an old person or somebody in hospital. You could scratch the colour in and give them the book with a water brush, and then they could colour it in themselves. So that was just a really quick pre-coloured page with Neos. Thank you for watching.